All right, guys. Matt here from Buy Low Sell Hines. I'm super pumped. I have Richie Hustles with me here today. So, Richie, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me, Hines. I appreciate it. And so I go by Richie Hustles in Massachusetts here. And what I love to do is I love retail arbitrage, selling on Amazon FBA and eBay. So I'm probably about 85% Amazon and about 15% eBay.
Okay, cool. So how long have you been doing it?
So I've been doing it since September of last year, and now it's been growing up ever since.
Cool. That's awesome. So you were just doing this though, just part time right now, correct?
Yeah, so right now I do have a current 9 to 5 job. I am a bank manager, and that occupies a lot of my time because living out by 495, if anybody that lives in Massachusetts knows, 495 is considered like the boonies, right? And I work in Boston, so it's about an hour and a half commute in, hour and a half commute back, sometimes longer. So we're talking 6:30 in the morning and getting home at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So it takes a big chunk of time out, and that's 5, sometimes 6 days a week.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Yeah, I worked in Medford for a little bit, so I feel your pain, and I was coming from New Hampshire, so I feel
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I grew up in Revere, so I know all
Okay.
about Medford. And yeah,
Yeah, you know that drive then. All right. So what is like what's the ultimate goal? I mean, is the ultimate goal to just pretty much kind of quit the 9 to 5, do this full time? What's the I don't want to call it the end goal. I hate saying end goal because like I guess with what we do there is no end goal.
everybody.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So what is the like next step for you as far as I mean you trying to get out of the 95, trying to find that balance, or what's next?
Yeah, so I think eventually I would like to do the reselling, full time,
Sure.
and I would like to eventually quit my job, but it has to make sense, right? So I think the glamorous thing that we all show everybody is, hey, look at this, I'm making this much, I'm doing this and everything else, and it makes everybody think we can just quit our jobs like that. And in my case right now, anyways, it's not the case. I do I do have a wife and a little 4-year-old girl. My wife's currently pregnant now, so I am pretty much the sole bread maker, right? So we have the full
Sure.
time job. I mean, my wife runs a YouTube channel herself. Well, we can get into that after for inspiration, but um, it has to make sense, and everybody's situation is different. But eventually, I would like to go full time.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I got you. I think it's just that the freedom that we go for, like a lot of the things, and a lot of people ask me like, oh, well, what are your financial goals? And it's not really like, I always say like, that's not what I look for as far as my goals, as long as there's food in the fridge, a roof over your head, and, gas in the vehicle to do what we do. And then, life's pretty good. But, so so you said earlier, you said you do about 85% on Amazon and about 15% on eBay right now?
Yeah, it's about 85-15. I would like to do a little bit more on eBay. Right now I only have about 50 products listed on eBay. I probably got about another 25 that needs to be listed. But
Okay.
Amazon is just such a beast, and in order to, it's
Sure.
just continually growing so quick that I feel if I stop what I'm doing with Amazon and dedicate more time to eBay, it's just going to slow that down to where that's where I'm at right now, is really just pushing hard for Amazon FBA.
Yeah, no, I got you. I did kind of like a similar thing where actually, so like, I knew Q4 was going to be crazy on Amazon. I pushed hard for that, and then I've actually been like the last month, I've almost kind of focused more a little bit on eBay. So and I try and post like my sales have been down the last month, but that's because I know I'm trying to like get that transition. But like if you combine the two, probably all the same. But yeah, that's cool. And I know like a lot of the things that I know you shopped a lot of the same like Walgreens specials we had. Uh, up here, and that was like a lot of how I got into eBay because I was like, man, I can't pass up these deals, but
Yeah.
I'm gated or restricted on Amazon, so you can't pass up when a Disney product's $1.99, you can sell it for 20
Exactly.
bucks.
No, exactly, and that's kind of one of the struggles. Like right before the interview here, I was out at Home Goods and in TJ Maxx, and you're looking at items, and you're like, oh, okay, I can't sell that on Amazon, but I can sell it on eBay. So now I'm loading my cart with all eBay items, and I'm like, wait a second, I have to slow down because I need to focus on my Amazon because I have to pack up a lot of Amazon tonight. Sunday is usually my ship out day. I usually drive everything to UPS. Lately, I've been considering maybe scheduling a pickup because I'm getting to the point now where it's not 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes.
Yeah,
It's 15, 18, 22 boxes, and now it's getting to a point where I'm starting to make 2 trips, and it doesn't make sense to make 2 trips in a way.
sure.
I'd rather just pay the $12, have UPS come pick up the 18 boxes or something.
Yeah, and that's usually so like I was very hesitant when I first started too, as far as having UPS pick up that kind of stuff. But I finally just kind of like you just said, as soon as I got to the point where I needed 2 trips, I was like, all right, my time is more valuable, and I think that's what we struggle with a lot of the times is like separating, like okay, we don't want that extra expense, but how much more could we make if we had that time back?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, cool. All right. So quick, like who do you think who are your biggest influencers? And we'll drop some shouts down bottom afterwards. Who do you follow? Who do you think you've learned the most from?
Yeah. So, I mean, over the summer last year is when I really started paying attention to YouTube more than
Yep.
anything. In my past, I used to DJ and I'm all about self promotion and I've tried different businesses here and there. So I've tried to grow my Instagram accordingly. And over the summer, I came across a couple of YouTube channels to drop a couple names. The first one I came across that came out multiple videos was Reezy Resells, and really enjoyed what he was doing and really enjoyed looking at the items. And then, when you're new to it, you almost look at it and you're like, no way, that can't happen. That's not happening. He's not
Yep.
making this. He's not doing that. He's not
Yep.
doing this. And then you watch it over and over. And then you start looking at, suggested videos. So I, started with Reezy, and then I went over to Steve Rakin over at Rakin Profits on his book selling. I
Yep.
went over to Side Hustle Pros, watch a bunch of them, Chaz and Trista. And once I got on Instagram, I actually started following Renzi, who you just interviewed. And even though he does sneakers, that team, they're so motivational. They just really keep it going because they're going nonstop all the time, driving from Maine to Massachusetts to. It's just their hustle is really really inspiring.
Yeah. No, they went crazy. They just went on a 3-day journey. I think they ended up going all the way down to New Jersey, and we're coming back. So to
Shout
have
out
the
to
dedication.
Renzi, man. You hustle hard, man.
Oh, they're crazy. Yeah, honestly, like crazy interview. They're so pumped all the time. They're so informative. So yeah, if you guys don't follow them, you need to follow them. The information they provide, and he's amped all the time. She's definitely got like the business side down. So that's like, hey, props to them. Like they work as far as that goes. So it's pretty awesome as far as what they do. So.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I mean, I know we kind of went off a little bit as far as influences, but like, so I know you said you were doing Amazon, eBay. Do you plan on kind of doing any kind of like other platforms as well too? Like, I mean, I know we just talked about Renzi. Obviously, they do shoes. Any plans on like Poshmark at all? Any plans on Mercari, whether it's shoes or even like the regular products?
Yeah, so I mean, while I was in Marshalls, I came across some Nike cleats, and as I came to the Nike cleats, I've never sold shoes before, and I actually DM'd Renzi, and I was like to Ryan, and I was like, hey, I come across these shoes, what do you think? And he had that typical dad answer, like when your dad wants you to do good, but he doesn't want to give you the answers because you need to do it for yourself. And he was like, listen,
Yep.
this is what you got to do. You have to do the comparables on the platform that you want to sell, which
Yep.
is pretty much the standard with anything that you want to sell. And I think I was just nervous because it was cleats, it was shoes. So I was just like, all right, like I kind of wanted him to give me the answer, but I'm
Yep.
glad he did. So what I did was I ended up listing them on Macari and Poshmark, and then on eBay. They sold really quick on eBay. Purchased them for $5, moved them for 40, and Poshmark. I haven't gotten into the whole cleats and shoes and clothing game. I would like to do that sometime in the future. Right now, I really like sourcing books, toys, collectibles, home furnishings, home appliances, um, things like that. But I would love to get into the clothing. So, I mean, to answer your question, I have used the Macari in the past. I've sold a couple of items, not too many. It's a little slow moving, maybe for the items that I'm putting on there. And
Okay.
Poshmark, I've only listed, like I said, two sets of cleats. They didn't move on there, but I was able to, move them on eBay. So I haven't really focused too much on Macari and Poshmark. But once I get more into the clothing, I think Poshmark is pretty much the standard for designer clothing and stuff like that. Besides eBay.
Right. No, I definitely agree. And for people watching, like I always say, don't limit yourself to one platform. There's actually probably 50 products that I have posted on Amazon. I kept a couple and I posted it on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, OfferUp, Let Go, Facebook Marketplace. And it's just I think the biggest thing is just get as many eyes as you can on the item, and obviously you got much bigger chance to make that sale. Just make sure your bookkeeping is correct and make sure if it sells on one, make sure you guys are deleting it off the other ones. So
And the crazy thing is when I first started out, I started with books, just because it seemed that books was the lowest investment for the most ROI. And I pride myself in this, and I post all the time for anybody who follows me. I always say, listen, I started with $8, and I broke a 20 for it. Like, I didn't even spend the whole 20 because that's how doubtful I was at first. I was like, you know what? They're 50 cents each. I'll buy $8 worth. Let's send it in and see what happens. Following sales rank and all that other stuff, and turn that $8 into 50 something dollars. And then I was like, well, wait a minute, let me try it again. Took that 50, dumped it all in, turned that to like 130. Kept doing that, and then here I am today. Almost 20,000 in sales for the year.
That's awesome. That's so cool, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people will like, and I think a lot of people just think Amazon, like, okay, I have to create my own brand, and they have to do like private label. They don't realize that you can sell stuff that already exists. I think a lot of the times, 95% of our market is I'm looking for stuff like I actually don't think I've genuinely created my own listing for anything.
Right? No, me neither.
So I find stuff that's people are already buying it. It's just kind of playing that middleman. You go to Walmart and you're finding something, they're in essence the middleman from the distributor. We're kind of doing the same thing as far as just putting on another platform. So that's pretty cool. All right, so one of my favorite questions. What was your? I mean, maybe you just kind of discussed it, but like, what do you consider your like aha moment where it could be like, wow, this could actually make me money. I could do this full time.
The aha moment was when I crossed $1,000 in sales. I said to myself, I said, if I can reach 1,000 in revenue, I'm going to take the profit from that, and I'm going to flip that, and I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm going to commit to doing what I love. And when I say doing what I love, I'm an avid comic book collector. I love Marvel. I love that space. So that's why I tend to gravitate towards toys and collectibles. So when I just got auto-proof for toys, I was like super stoked. I was like, yes, but unfortunately the troubles with Marvel and DC, can't do that. But taking that knowledge and really applying it, the aha moment was definitely when I hit 1,000 in revenue. I was like, wait a minute, this is crazy. So now I'm looking at my dashboard, and I'm trying to set higher and higher goals, and I'm just like, wow, this can happen. But it doesn't. I just need to make something clear too for everybody watching too. Is just like, it doesn't just happen. I mean, somebody might say, okay, well, you're doing pretty good since September, but like, I've sacrificed so much time away from like my family, my kids, like I'm scheduling time and saying, okay, Valentina, she's 4 years old, and she always gets super happy. I'm like, listen, I'm going to get home by 7:00 to spend this hour with her. And then when my wife's putting her to bed, I get to hit in the garage and spend about 3-4 hours. So it's like, it's constant. And that's the way you're going to be if you're going to make it happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think a lot of people just kind of see the glorification of it on, YouTube videos and Instagram things and stuff like that. And, so that's why I did a live last night where I was literally taping up like 40 boxes.
I didn't see it live, but I caught it today. And I was like,
no.
People need to see that. They need to see, listen, you got to set up boxes. You got to stuff the boxes. You got to prep. Like, that's part of it.
Oh yeah, exactly, and I try and do those because I want people to understand that, the whole point is we're doing this for freedom. I don't want people coming in thinking, oh, I'm going to spend 8 hours, I'm going to make $14,000 because this guy did it on YouTube.
Right.
So see the grind. Know that it's a job. It's not. I mean, as much as we do it for the freedom, it's a job. It really is. So definitely a big thing. But all right. So I mean. So I'm pumped about this interview just because of the fact that you pretty much do exactly what I do. So it's fun, and I know we have a lot of the same knowledge. So one of the things, and I'm going to drop all these interviews I did this week right around the same time. And one of the biggest videos that I'm pumped to drop that I've been working on a lot is a video about ranking. How much has ranking changed your thought process from when you started to now?
Yeah, so ranking is probably the most important aspect of what we do. And, if you're not using keepa.com, I know it was free before, and now they're charging, I think it's like 15 euro or pounds or whatever, or 19 pounds.
Yeah, it's like $18 a month.
It's so worth it. it's so worth it. You need that in your life. I know this Helium 10. I haven't really messed with Helium 10 yet, but I'm used to Keeper in their model. But with Sales Rank, it's one of those things where you're scanning an item, it's going to come up 38,000 in toys. You're jumping for joy. You're like, holy crap, this is awesome. But you realize that it just sold yesterday, and it hasn't sold prior to that for like maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe the buy box is. I mean, there's just so many. There's so many aspects to rank, and it's important to learn Keeper and to learn the charting and to learn the buy box, learn where the buy box was, learn where Amazon came in and just totally like blew everybody out of the water, and then they ran out of stock. And it's. I mean, sales rank is sales rank, man. That's the most important thing to learn. I'd love to do a video on sales rank. I just have to figure out how to record on my computer.
I'll send you what I use. I'll send you what I use afterwards. There's some good ones, especially for what we're doing, is because I've tried to dive in. I mean, I literally only have my intro video on YouTube, and that's why I'm gonna drop everything at once. But I've been fiddling around with so many programs, so I'll send you what I use afterwards. Yeah, I know, and I see that mistake all the time because self-example, I want to say when I first started, I was pumped. Went to a Goodwill. I scanned this like 2-pack of like batteries for like earpieces, like the little tiny ones.
Yeah.
One not knowing batteries, trying to sell them on Amazon if you don't know what you're doing, almost impossible. And because you got to list the composition, what it is, how many, all that kind of stuff. And 2, not realizing that they were like, I think like 4 million in home improvement. I had no idea what that meant. I just saw that I was paying $1 a piece for them. They were selling for $19.99. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm gonna make like $10 a piece on these. So I bought, I think, like 30 of them. It was only $30 investment, so not a big deal. Sent them all in, and then realized 2 months afterwards, wow, I haven't sold a single one of these, and and figured it out that way. So that's what we do. That's why I like posting these things, so people don't make those mistakes. I know it was only $30, but like you said, you started with $8. If I had only started with $30 and did that, I probably would have just gave up on it. So
and I was literally on lunch break at my job, and I was a total skeptic. I walked next door to the library with $20 bill, and I said, I'm going to buy some books, and I scanned it. I didn't know about Keeper at the time when I first started. But I learned very quick once I watched a couple more videos, and I was just kind of going on sales rank. Oh, okay, 500,000 in books, all right. 1.5 million in books, all right. And then I'm like, oh, I'll make $50, but it had like a 6 million rank, and I was like, all right, well, it's 6 million and there's 80 million books, so maybe it'll sell. And I got it anyways because it was 50 cents, but I still hasn't sold to this day.
That's even better. That still hasn't sold. That's awesome. All right, so like, what got you? How did you discover this? Like, how did you find out that you could sell on Amazon and eBay and all that kind of stuff?
It literally, I was just searching. I was thinking about getting back into eBay. So I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, 20 years ago, and maybe this is where the passion comes from. Is 20 years ago they used to have Yahoo auctions. I don't know if you remember. Yahoo auctions. And I think I was like 17, 18 years old. And I was stealing my little brother's Pokemon cards, and I was selling them on Yahoo auctions. He was getting so pissed, and I was selling them for like 10 to 20 bucks a piece, and I was making pretty good money. And that's kind of, I think, where it all stemmed from. But I'm sorry, your question one more time, and you'll edit this up.
How did you discover Amazon FBA? Like, I know, like, obviously, like, a lot of us have selling backgrounds. Like, I used to go to yard sales, all that kind of stuff, and was selling like local marketplace, that kind of stuff. But like, how did you discover like that you could sell on Amazon?
So I was just literally searching for side hustles, and when I came across YouTube channels with Richie Resells is really who dropped up a couple videos that made me actually start and go search and look for it. Then I started looking through his videos, and his earlier videos, he was showing you how to set it up and all this other stuff. And I saw Steve Rakin and all those other guys were all doing the same thing. And I'm just like, all right, let me try this. So literally search the link, set it up, and then I'm like, oh, do you need to be a business? And then I would like YouTube again, and they're like, no, you could do as an individual seller first, and you can sell 40 products a month. So that's how I started. I started up as an individual seller, had that 40 product a month, but literally I literally only had that for about a month. It didn't take long for me to realize, hey, we're going to go to a professional account. I'll pay them the 40 because I'm going to pay the 40 anyways,
right?
With that 99-cent fee on the individual when you get to list up to 40 products. But it took me only a month to realize, okay, I need to get a professional account. And, I have a business. It's a sole prop, so that wasn't hard to create and everything, and I just took it from there.
Cool. For those that don't know what Richie was just talking about, so on Amazon, I know a lot of people think that they got to just dive in and pay $40 a month. If you guys are hesitant at all, you can do just a personal account. So what it is every time that you are listing and selling something, it's 99 cents for that one particular item. So if you guys are hesitant and you only want to send in, say, 1-2 items, start just to kind of get a gauge of it. You don't have to do the professional account. So you can do that like individual account, and it's 99 cents per item. So okay, so one of the things, I follow you, so like I kind of see your hustle and your grind. So you are just pretty much just straight out of your garage, correct?
Correct, straight out of the garage right now.
Okay. So what do you think is like what systems do you have in place that makes it easier for you? Do you feel like because it's in the garage, it holds you back at all, or?
After yesterday, so I went to Thursday night, Friday night, and then earlier today. And after bringing home what I brought home, there's literally like no walk-in space in my garage. It's a one-car garage, and obviously there's more than just my product and table and setup in there. We got when you're a homeowner, you got the snowblower in there, the friggin' lawnmower, you got everything in there. So right now it's very, very unorganized. The one thing I got to work on to better myself is I have to get more organized. I'm very envious as I look in your background and everything looks extremely neat and put together. God bless you.
That's just for the video. If I pan the other way, it won't look as organized.
But I need to get a little bit more better in my garage because the garage is honestly getting small. And that's why when I had asked you earlier, I said, do you have a space of your own? Because that's something I'm looking into doing. I'm looking into A, getting a van, and B, getting a bigger space as long as the business can support that.
Sure. No, I got you, and that was kind of like my decision. I was doing it just out of the bottom of the house, but I was taking up my man cave and really didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I was taking up I originally started in my daughter's playroom. Then my wife was yelling at me, "You got to get this stuff out of it," because it was taking up half the room. And I don't blame her. So I said, you know what, I'll move it to the garage.
Yeah, no, and I finally got to the point where I think it was, and what a lot of people don't know, I guess, I'll share it here. I don't really share it too much, but I actually sell like gently used furniture as well too. And my goal with that was literally I sell enough with that to pay for the space. So I'm not taking up, in essence, any of my like Amazon capital. So like that was my thing. And I know a lot of people kind of stress of have multiple incomes. So like that's kind of like, I guess, my side hustle to my regular hustle.
Nice.
So that's what I do as far as that goes. But I will say, like, getting my own space, like obviously I had to decide when it was cost effective, but organization, like you can see, and that's the thing, I don't mind sharing this stuff behind me because it's all stuff that I'm restricted on Amazon. And I'm sure you probably recognize a lot of it from Walgreens. But that's all eBay, Mercari, that kind of stuff. So, I'm hoping eventually I'll get ungated in a lot of that stuff, but obviously it takes time. So, but yeah, organization I've definitely learned is key. Even especially with like eBay. I know you say you don't do too much on eBay, but I think I have 300 postings on eBay. So like if I didn't have shelves, I'd be killing myself. I know a lot of people. I think so. West Coast Goods and his wife, West Coast Gems, they do like bins in their garage, and they've got them all numbered, which I think helps organize and stuff like that too. So. So what else? What other tools do you use, or what other tools do you think are like essentials to the business? Like, do you use any kind of repricer? Do you use like Inventory Lab or anything else? Any other Google Chrome extensions? Like, what is essential for you to be better at the business?
So literally, so like we talked about before, I started in September. I didn't really start getting into the tools until about January because now the to reprice everything myself, 300, 400 items, I can manage that. But now we're up to 1,000 or so. So I do use Inventory Lab. I definitely love that. I love the reports it gives and generates. I also use I think it's pronounced BQ. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I do use that repricer and Scoutify too. So it's I don't know. I'm probably a little extra because when I'm outsourcing, I always scan everything first with the Amazon seller app. I don't know if it's out of habit or what, but everything, like even when I'm outsourcing books, and people are gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm really quick with the scanner because I know people are just going doop doop doop, and they're just listening for the beep. I get it, but I literally scan everything. Those 12 bags of books you saw, everything was scanned with the Amazon seller app.
What I like more to do, power to you.
I just feel like it just gives me that that main picture that I need, and then if I'm interested in the product, I'll scan it again with Scoutify 2 because I want to see what's in that category if I'm not familiar with how many items are in that category. And another thing I like to use about Scoutify 2, which is included with your Inventory Lab subscription, is I like how it has the built-in Keepa link as well as other links that you can just jump right to it. Super helpful with that there. There are other repricing options out there. I know some people might use, I think it's Reprice. Is it called Reprice It?
Yeah,
For like books
actually,
stuff, but I just use Be Cool for everything.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, and that's the thing is I think a lot of people kind of like, I guess, even discussing like with the space as far as Inventory Lab, any repricer tool, Scoutify 2, like I use Scout IQ for books, which I know a lot of people use. It's finding when is with what you're paying for it, when is it beneficial? Like how much do you have to be doing in order to do it? I mean, because for a long time, like I was only going and scanning books once a month, so it wasn't worth me paying the monthly fee for Scout IQ, but now I try and go once a week and scan books. I mean, I'm fortunate that I've got a Goodwill by the pound like 10 minutes from me, so I'm fortunate as far as that goes.
Nice. Yeah. But I think the closest Savers and Goodwill to me is about 20 minutes or so down in Attleboro.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I like Scout IQ. I've used it. But to your point, I'm only going to book sales right now. I go to libraries every now and then for the regular book sales, but the bag sales is really what I'm interested in. And honestly, this month it's been pretty dry with bag sales, according to I think what is it, booksalefinder.com. Not a lot of bag sales going on this month, but that's why I don't really have a Scout IQ membership. I did, but I canceled it.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Yeah, so Book Sale Finder is huge as far as that goes. I think a lot of it around us, there isn't too much just because of the weather right now. Because I've looked and I've already got a couple ones that I'm going to go to once the weather gets a little nicer around the area. But like they definitely get big in the summer. So I get very jealous of people that live down south. I mean, one, just for temperature wise, but two, they have some of the sales around there. But I was talking to I don't know if you follow Romer the Roamer at all.
I do.
Yeah. When I was interviewing him earlier this week, he told me that apparently we live in a gold mine as far as books around here. So I got to pick his brain a little bit more. But apparently, books around here is a gold mine. So who knows as far as that goes. So I guess has anybody, like any of your friends, anybody that you've talked to, like I guess started to do this just because they've seen you do it, or?
I don't think nobody's really. So a lot of my inspiration actually came from my wife. My wife has a YouTube channel. She does a home decor and a home lifestyle channel. It's so funny how we trade off things. I always try to encourage my wife to do what she loves to do, like just do it. And she was a little nervous at first to have a YouTube channel.
Why don't let's give your wife a shout out. What's her YouTube, and like how has her on YouTube kind of inspired you to do more on YouTube?
Yeah, so my wife is on YouTube as Eleni Nick Lifestyles. She's Greek. She's my beautiful Greek goddess, and she's got about 17,000 subscribers on YouTube. So she's way ahead of the game compared to my little 141. She's been doing it for about 3 years. She does a lot of home decor. And I think what really inspired me to get onto Amazon and eBay and really go into it is because, as she talks, she would go out and buy products that she likes, and she would talk about them and display them in our home and show them and, all this other type of stuff. And then it got to a point where companies were reaching out to her saying, hey, can we send you this? And now it kind of put the ball in her court to say, yes, this product works with me, or no, this product doesn't work with me. And essentially work with companies now to review their items on YouTube, as well as, what she does already, which is like reviewing products. She does clean with me. I have to say this though. A lot of people that do what she does, they do these videos called Clean With Me.
Okay.
And it's literally they set up a camera and you just watch them clean. And she gets tens of thousands of views on it. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
Who's watching these videos? I couldn't sit there and watch somebody clean. You know what I mean?
Hey, I tell you, that's the best part about like the time we're alive in right now is so crazy. It's, and people watch those videos. I couldn't have, if somebody told me 10 years ago what I was doing now, I'd be like, no, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to be able to sell this product. You're telling me that I'm going to sell little girls' toys and, boy drums, and I'm going to be making money on it? No, there's no way. So it's so crazy. It's so funny.
And I thought to myself, I said, if people are sitting here watching my wife clean the house, then I can sell some friggin' Amazon products. Like it should be that way. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
saw.
I hear
Well,
you.
no, I just saw. What's his name? Is his name Chaz? No, his name's not Chaz. What the hell's his name? Um, I can't think of his name. What's his name on YouTube? He always goes to Dollar General, Dollar Tree. Uh, Anyways, he was in Walmart. He was doing an arbitrage. Let me see if I can remember. He was doing an arbitrage video, and he was in like the women's section, like picking out bras for $1. Then he was gonna make like $6,
Yeah.
$7 profit on those. And I was sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, I should do that." And then I looked at the section, and I go, "Nah, I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it." I wanted to do it, but I said maybe I should take my wife here and then like be in there with my wife. Maybe it won't be
Yeah.
so awkward. But he's a savage. Shout out to I can't think of his friggin' name. What's his name? Um, Rise and Grind Picker. That's what it is.
Okay. All right.
Right?
All right. Okay. I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking about.
Shout out to you in the friggin' bra section getting profit on panties. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Hey, I got no shame. I've gotten over that like concept. I mean, I haven't gone to the bra section, I suppose. But I mean, I've gotten little kids slippers and all that kind of. And I don't have kids, so I mean, obviously people walking around aren't going to know that I don't have kids. But I mean, back to school season, I'm buying backpacks. Like I feel terrible when people are like, oh, like what are you buying? Are you donating them? And I want to be like, oh man, I don't want to lie, but I don't want to be like, no, I'm actually making quite a bit of money on these.
Yeah, honestly, just for the sake of conversation, I tell the cashiers a lot of times when I go up there with like 2 carts and they're like, "Oh, like what do you plan to do with these?" And I say, "Oh, I live in a neighborhood. We got 38 houses. I like to give back to the kids. I just talk and a lot of stuff that I can't sell. Honestly, I do donate. There is a church next to me. I do donate some of the stuff that I'm not able to push or maybe the packaging. Like for instance, I plan on donating this here. It's like a frozen scuba diver set. It's missing a couple things. The packaging is a little damaged, but maybe some little girl might like this, if in her pool or something. So, I do donate some of my items to the church that's next door to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I mean, and again, a lot of times we don't advertise that, but I get a lot of. I'll donate like a lot of my like Amazon returns. I mean, I know that there's a market for used things, but I mean, honestly, like once you get to a point where it's not worth your time, you're going to lose money if you step back in.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's cool. So it's cool to hear that other people kind of give back. And I mean, I think we're doing that anyways. I mean, like a lot of people like, oh, you guys are just in it for the money. No, we're not just in it for the money. And I've got many things honestly. So like some of the Walgreens stuff. It was originally $19.99. I got it for $1.99, and I'm selling it for $10. Am I making a couple bucks on it? Absolutely. But you want to know what? Somebody's getting it cheaper because I went out of the way to get it, so they're saving money. I know it's kind of a convoluted way to look at it, but you know what I mean. So like some of the things we do, where we mark up prices, but that's just supply and demand. It's no different than a grocery store marking up things because there's a shortage of it and people are paying more. So.
Right.
All right. So let's see. What is one thing you wish more sellers did or wish more sellers wouldn't do?
Ooh. Well, I get burned for this one if I open my mouth. I don't like to keep my mouth shut.
I don't have enough followers for it to burn you. Don't worry.
So this is what I'll do. So there was a time where I picked up a product at Dollar Tree. And this is in the earlier stages of me selling where I didn't know any better. And, you see somebody come in and they beat you by a penny, like we were talking earlier. And then it makes you nervous. I'm only in the game 3 months, 4 months. I'm making money. I'm like, well, I don't want to lose money. So then I lower mine for a penny, right? So that notorious race to the bottom kind of scenario, right? And it happens more often than not. And I think a lot of times, like, I don't know. It's just, I wish people would have a little bit more patience with their product, right? Because I think Chaz over at Side Hustle Pro said it the best, where he said, you either want to be the first one in or the last one out, never in between, because then you're just going to be racing down to the bottom. But what I've learned to do is in my sourcing, I have a certain margin that I want. At the end of the day, I need to move product. At the end of the day, I need to make money to buy more product. That's the only way I'm going to be able to grow. If I'm not buying anything, I'm not going to grow. So do I get into some wars? I don't like to get into some price wars with people online. So to answer, what do I not like? I don't like getting into the price war things, but I buy things a lot of times at a price margin that in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is, I'll make $12 profit now, but if this tanks, where am I still going to have room if I have to do a little bit of battling? Am I still going to come out $9 profit? And I'm willing to sacrifice $1 or $2. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people like, no, it's wrong. You shouldn't do that. You should just this and that. But listen, like anybody, I'm in it to make money. I'm not in it to please everybody. I'm not going to please everybody. But if I can make a profit in my head, I try to go by the 50% range. So if I buy something for 10 and it says I'm going to make 22. Well, then I got enough room to work there if I have to cut my price down a little bit. Yep. So I try to set my minimums and maximums on BQL to reflect that. What I do like is I really like and respect everybody such as yourself that really get on here trying to promote their ideas, their knowledge, getting everybody involved. Everybody that's uploading their YouTube videos, everyone that's on Instagram and all the platforms, and everybody that's just so supportive and not afraid to let loose some of the ideas that honestly some people charge for.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And that's probably another thing. I could probably rant all day. Like that's another thing too is like I feel like I totally respect everybody that have these like mastermind programs because like it's their livelihood. So like some people, I've heard people say, oh, like why do they charge for this? Like I thought they want to share their knowledge with everybody, but like at the end of the day, you have to think like we're in a business, you know what I mean? And we're in a country where we could if we need to charge for that, we're able to charge for that. You might not agree with it, but that doesn't make it wrong. But I really really like all of the knowledge that the whole reselling community shares because it's helped me. I'm a perfect product of that, coming from selling zero to what I do now.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree. One, I appreciate that, and I mean that's like, but that's why I provide the information that I provide. Again, like I've learned so much, and I've made so many less mistakes by other people posting their mistakes. So that's why like I try and post as many mistakes, as I can. That's why like I did a video the other day as far as like avoiding property complaints. I do that because I don't want anybody to have one because I've had one.
I was gonna say I heard that you're almost out of it. You're almost out of it though.
Oh, I had a intellectual property complaint, and I had a what's the other one? Like a copyright infringement.
Okay.
And I had
anybody just file
one of each.
Like can anybody just say, hey? Like can anybody just say, hey, this product is not real, and then Amazon just believes them?
So I think they have to have some kind of basis. I mean, I don't know because I guess I've never filed one of the things against someone because I'm not developing my own products. And anybody feel free and chime in down below and let us know if they know a little bit more about this. That's why the great thing. Other people probably have this knowledge a lot more. But what it was is I had one company that said that a product that I bought wasn't real. I mean, I know sometimes people will go and I've seen companies and I've seen videos about people saying some companies will just say, hey, they're not a licensed seller. So they'll do the, the kind of the copyright infringement, or they'll go, hey, this isn't real. And unfortunately, I mean, I keep my receipts for everything. The product that I was selling was real for anybody that's going to try and give me grief. But it was from like a little like mom and pop place that literally like the only thing on the receipt was just the prices. One of the ones that are like this thin just the whole way down. So, you can do the best you can. Like I called Amazon, had discussions with 3-4 advisors, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, listen, I'll send the physical product to you guys to show you that it's real. My receipt doesn't have what it is. So it's just unfortunate. If it was one of 400 other products, I could have been like, here's my Walmart receipt. And sometimes, I mean, so just to clarify too, you guys can send in retail receipts to show that your product is real. You can't send in your receipts to get ungated in a product because like Walmart is not like a licensed distributor as far as getting you ungated, just to clarify. And then I had another company that they just said that I wasn't allowed to sell it. And I unfortunately, so a lot of companies will go to the individual seller and say, hey, we never said you could sell this. You're not a licensed distributor. You have 3 days, 7 days to either sell out or close your item. And I've actually gotten one of those. And I'll let everybody know, Espressotoria. So if you have Espressotoria at all still, take it off. Trust me. And then there was another product where they just went right to Amazon. And unfortunately, if they go right to Amazon, Amazon just dings you with it. And I think that's just hindering a ton. So when I got the first thing off, which was a month and a half ago, I was able to do a lot of the subcategories. I was able to do the subcategory toys, subcategory like, watering and hose products, subcategory of like baby items, topicals. So I got ungated in a lot of the subcategories. But I'm hoping with this one, because I see a lot of people that can sell Under Armour and all those kind of things. I'm still, and I think like Sony and that kind of stuff. I don't know if you can share a couple more, but I'm actually still gated in those. And I've sold, I've done over, I think 150,000 in sales, and I've sold over 7,000 products, and I'm still gated in those.
Yeah. So one thing that happened to me, speaking about ungated, there was like a 3-day stretch where I was just literally typing in like ASINs, copy and pasting ASINs, or typing in company names, just request. And to, my pleasure, I was like, holy crap, like it says I'm approved. So then I go to the next one, approve, next one, approve. Toys, I got ungated in toys. Like that was like one of the main things that I really wanted to get ungated in, because that's one of my, knowledgeable specialties that I think, at least, collectibles and toys. One of the funny things, though, to your point, like subcategories, I don't know, maybe you could even answer this, is I'm gated in Disney, but I'm ungated in Disney princesses.
Yes.
I don't know.
So I can't answer that for you, actually. So it's literally, so when a company wants you to be gated in certain things, so this, let me say this. This is from the research I've done. I'm not saying that this is the Amazon by the book answer. So when I don't know the answer to something, I love looking it up. So the research that I've found is companies will, in essence, go through and say that I want this to be, like only to be a licensed reseller in this. So Disney probably obviously had their main category that if it's just listed as Disney, that you can do that. I bet you if there was, I don't know if there's a Disney Prince category, but if you might have gotten ungated in Disney Princess, but you might not get, ungated in Disney Prince. It's literally just kind of what the companies went through and kind of put in there, because it might be something where they didn't do a Disney Princess category, but then somebody created a listing for something, put it as they were, we'll call it smart, finding their way around it. Not labeling it as, the workaround. It's unfortunate, but we see it all the time with businesses. And they didn't label it as a Disney product because they know if they listed it in Disney, they probably couldn't sell it, but they listed it as a Disney princess. They might have put that, their own kind of seller metrics. And again, we all wish we knew that magical formula to get ungated in things. But, they might have put it so you have to have certain metrics. Or some people just see, oh, I'm gated, and they don't even bother to try when, you might only need 100 sales and $1,000 in sales, and you might get, ungated in something. So I think it's just whenever somebody puts in, creates a product, they put kind of like their own metrics on those individual things.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps answer a little bit, but, all right. So let me ask this. What do you think? What makes you stand out from others? Why I don't want to say what makes you better, but like why are you going to have more success than others? What makes you different than other hustlers? What makes you different than other Amazon sellers out there?
So I can tell you that, to this day, as I better myself, I still constantly watch everybody's videos, because I feel like if you're not learning something new every day, then it's almost a waste. So I don't want to say that, I would be better than anybody else, because I'm still learning every day myself. I think what makes me stand out is, that I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to engage. I'm pretty bold. I reach out to people. I'm not afraid. If anybody watching this says, oh, I thought about hitting up Reezy, or, even me, Richie, or yourself, buy low, sell Hines, and Renzi, and I thought about hitting those people up and ask them a question, but, they probably won't answer me. Like, if I had that mentality, I would not learn a thing, So I think I just, honestly, what differentiates myself is I don't know, I'm crazy as hell. I like being crazy. I like having fun with it. I like going out. I don't try to act proper, and I'm just me. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And one of the things about me is I'm not worried I'm paying attention to everybody else's success, but I'm letting that success help drive my success, or help me try to be successful. I look at that as inspiration. I'm not a jealous person. If you're doing, $1 million a year, God bless you. You know what I mean? If you're doing, 25,000, 50,000 a month, kill it, like nail it. Like that's great. So I think I try to use everybody else's success to help me jump, my inspiration, to try to be like, oh, all right, so they're at this level, I want to try to get to this level. It's just constant inspiration. And I would suggest that anybody starting out, don't try to be better than anybody else. be you, do what you love. It will come. There's an old saying that says, I never did anything for money. Money wasn't the goal. Money was a result. So,
Okay.
love what you do, and the money will follow.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that. I mean, I'm huge as far as like self-inspiration. Like I set my goals and like, okay, here's my goal and I want to crush that. But I use like I love watching Gary V. Like the man motivates the shit out of me.
Yep.
I have zero idea, and I get that he's from New York. Why he would ever want to buy the New York Jets, but that's
Yeah, exactly. Especially coming from New England. Leave the Jets alone.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Hey, whatever. Maybe I just say that because I'm worried he's going to have so much money at the time that he'll be able to buy whoever he wants, and the Jets will actually be a winning organization. But right. That's the biggest thing. And what you just kind of talked about as far as don't be afraid to reach out to people. I reached out to you. I reached out to Renzi. I reached out to Romer. Honestly, like you go into it. I mean, as much as I want to be optimistic, you go into it with the expectations that you're going to shoot all these messages and every single person is either not going to respond or be like, who's this guy? Like, nope, I'm not going to, But that's the thing. If you don't ask, it's always a no if you don't ask. And I try and anytime I do a live, I tell people, like send messages. I don't care how silly it may sound to you, or I'm gonna think being like, oh, look at this newbie. I'm gonna answer everything because I was that newbie at one point. I had no idea. I watch YouTube videos. I ask questions, and I tell people all the time, like if you feel uncomfortable or you don't want to be embarrassed by like asking in a live setting, send a DM, ask questions. But I mean. And YouTube, there's literally a YouTube video for everything. You could take 10 things, break it down, and pick that one and learn how to do that one thing, and then go back, learn how to do the second thing, and then you'll understand all 10 by going through it. So it's
exactly
the information we have out there is crazy. So let me ask, what are your 2019 goals? It can be monetary values if you want to discuss values, or it can just be like what your goals are as far as growing the business.
So, I mean, the ultimate goal for 2019, I said to myself, wow, if I could really grow this, take a full year of my business and actually go to the point where I can leave my 9-to-5 by 2020. So let me back up for a minute. Back in September, I said to myself, if this works, I'll quit in 2 years because my birthday's in September. So I'm like, September 2020 is when I'd like to quit and never do this if it works out. Now we're at the point where it's working out. And now I'm growing and I'm like, okay, maybe by the end of this year, we can get to that point. I mean, I set myself as for an 80K in revenue, between 80 and 100. I'd love to hit 100K in revenue. I got 20K in the books now in revenue, and I'd love to at least hit 80 by year end. Maybe it's a stretch. Maybe 100 grand is a stretch, but if I can do that, then we're talking. I could quit my job by the end of the year. As long as things are done right, and that's. You really got to sit down. Like I draw up my bills. I had a notebook, pen and notebook, said, the mortgage, car payment 2, car insurance. You just have to list all of your things and, include food, weekly food budget and all that stuff. And if you can make it work, great. Somebody said to me, it was in a DM and it was like, oh, well, if you're making like, 3 or 4 grand a month, I was like, can't you quit your job? And I said, no. And then he was like, well, what does it take? Like 8 grand to quit your job? And I'm like, no. Probably it's going to take over 10 grand of money coming in, not revenue, like actual profit coming in, because you have to understand when you're taking in money from your business, after you pay your bills, then you're left with what's left. And if you can't source enough products to redo that again, then you kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of people look at it. I mean, yes, like you said, you started with $8. Great, you grew it that way. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, if you're paying your bills, you just take the leftover. Well, if you're left with $500 after your bills, you could be if your bills are $5 grand a month and you're profiting $5,500, you got to pay your bills. You're left with $500. You're not going to be able to grow, much with that. One of the things I use, I don't know if you use it at all, is I use Payability. I don't know if you've looked into it at all, but
yeah, I mean, I've heard about that. I mean, I've heard a couple people using, but I've never. Right now, I'm just cutting myself every Tuesday. I'm requesting a payment every Tuesday, so it's in my account by Thursday, and that's what I use for the weekend. But no, I've never used Payability. I've heard of it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, for people that don't know what it is, in essence, they pay you every single day. When you first start, you only get like 80% of, in essence, what Amazon owes you. They do take 2%. The biggest clarification that I like to tell people is they take 2% of the sale price. They don't take 2% of like what you paid or profit and that kind of stuff. So it ends up being like 7-8% as far as what you're getting back. They cut that off. It's nice for people that are starting because you get that investment every single day. I think when I was first doing it, not knowing that you can almost kind of request it every single week, I was doing all these things, spending all this money. I'd get like a weekend. I was sending all the products, and then for 4 days, I was twiddling my thumbs because I'm out of products to send. I'm out of products to send in. Things are still selling, but I just haven't gotten the money back. I think I'm at the point now where I'm definitely probably within the next month probably going to kind of cut things off as far as payability because I don't want them taking 2% of the entire sales, value
Right.
because I've built that up like we were just talking about. I've gotten to that point where you can pay the bills and you can take that profit, and now I know where to find enough products that I can spend it, but I can space it out, and I do a lot more things now. You can see the 8 million breakable boxes with fragile stickers and stuff like that behind me. Is I have a lot of things, and my biggest thing is kind of getting those refillables, the replenishables. But it takes time to do those too. So, all right. So you don't need to give us all of your sources as far as where you find things. Where is the craziest place you have found a product for profit?
Oh man, the craziest place. I mean, I'd probably say some of the thrift stores. So like Goodwill. When I go to the thrift stores, a lot of Goodwill, and I'm probably everybody's gonna kill me when I say this, but when I go there, I go to the electronics section first, and I
Yep.
look for those items first. And the second thing I'm looking for is anything unopened. And I think I found it was and it's already gone. I sold it on eBay actually. It was a Mickey Mouse Little People house like playset. I guess
Okay.
it was like something like rare, and it was I don't know if the sticker was mismarked. It was only $3.99, and I ended up pushing it for like over almost $100. And I was like,
There
holy
you
crap.
go.
And I went to like a couple other Goodwills and nobody had it. And I'm like, obviously it's not stocked like a regular store would be.
Right.
I think a lot of my surprises in products come from TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. And people ask me, why do they pay that for that? And my answer is, well, because they don't have access to. We're kind of spoiled on the Northeast, if you ask me. We're saturated with like a plethora of just stores where somebody in Washington State, Oklahoma, Alabama, it's an hour to the nearest Walmart. They don't have Home Goods there.
Right.
But I think just I've been surprised with some of the books I bought for $1 that I've flipped for 150.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. I mean, there was the McDonald's, the fillet of fish. What's his name? The
Yep.
fish that hangs on the wall that sings. I
Yeah.
bought that at Savers for $6.99. I moved that on Amazon for $1.20. Mint condition. The packaging was mint. Like it was like mint. It was like $6-7. I said, who's gonna pay 120 for this? And the ranking, the keeper was like, an earthquake, and I was like, holy crap, this is gonna move as soon as it's checked in, and literally an hour it was gone. I was
That's
like, wow,
so crazy.
this is
Yeah,
great.
and that was what I was going to ask. One of the questions, do you find how important is research? I mean, I know we talked about like keeper graphs and that kind of stuff and ranking earlier. Like, how important do you think research is as far as like your potential sales and moving product?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're not researching anything, or if you're not doing enough research, you're really just kind of hindering yourself to the growth you could potentially have. I think that a lot of people try to look for that big product that's going to sell big, and they're
Yep.
forgetting like I'd rather have a bunch of products that are selling consistently for X amount of dollars than waste my time looking for that one product that might sell big, but it might not. But I like to be more consistent. So I mean, just be consistent. You got to
Yeah.
be consistent.
No, I'm there with you too. And like I said, and then that's like what I was talking about earlier, the refillables behind me. Like when I first started, I was doing a couple, like 3 or 4 big ticket items, trying to make those $50 to $100 a piece on certain things. Once I understood sales rank, and then I was, like, okay, what's on clearance right now? What's hot right now? And doing that kind of stuff. But I definitely learned that like if you always focus on that,
Right.
you're gonna be doing those 90, 100 hours every single week forever.
Right.
So
When you're in these stores, you literally have to scan everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like it's so crazy. Like I never thought whatever. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it because I will sell if it's gonna make profit, I will sell it. I will hustle that product out the door and sell that.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've learned is some of my best and most profitable items are things that I've never heard of. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does, and I don't understand why it's popular. It's going to be popular for some reason, but that's where we're going. And I think a lot of people make that mistake is when they go into a Marshall, when they go into a Walmart, they're only scanning products that they know, because the fact that people are like, oh, well, I know this, so everybody else will want to buy it. Yeah, there's a good chance that you probably can make money, but I think a lot of the time, especially when we see clearance items that are like that, it gets so saturated so fast that you might have paid $5 for it and you're going to profit $5, but you didn't leave yourself that window when you first bought it. There was 20 sellers, and 2 weeks later there's 60 sellers, and you get that race to the bottom and that kind of stuff. So like, to your point, scan everything. Some of the stuff that I have, like I said, one of my replenishables, I mean, I know what it is now because I buy it every single month, but like, I didn't know what it was. I was like, there's no way people consistently buy this, and I probably sell 20 of a month, $4 a pop, $4 profit a pop. I'm only paying $4 a piece for them, so I'm consistently one product making $80 a month, and those add up when you get 10, 20, 30 replenishable items. So yes, scan everything. So cool. All right, well, Richie, we'll discuss a couple more things off camera, because I got a couple more things for you. But why don't you, buddy, where they can find you on Instagram, YouTube, that kind of stuff?
Sure. So I'm on Instagram at Richie Hustles, and I'm also on Twitter at Richie Hustles, on YouTube at youtube.com/Richie Hustles, Facebook.com/Richie. Everything's Richie Hustles. Your social media platform that you use /Richie Hustles.
Fair enough. And like I said, guys, when it's on YouTube, we'll put those links down below. So thank you, Richie, so much for your time. Like I said, we'll discuss a couple more things, but no, I really appreciate you coming on and kind of providing the info today, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.